A meteor stone that passes by the sun leaves some debris in it. This causes an enormous solar flare. We then see a drunk man in a bar blurting nonsense. He gets kicked out. As Clark's running, the man's looking at his map. Clark suddenly stops and the man almost hits him and crashes. An electrical pole falls onto his car. Clark breaks open the door and takes the man out. The man's surprised. He's Perry White. Clark's not working, but he hits too hard. Perry White suddenly arrives. His driving license is suspended because he was drunk. He used to be a reporter and now is researching the meteor stone phenomenon in Smallville for TV, but he didn't want a settlement because Clark was guilty. He says they'll be equal if Clark can be a guide for the city. Lex has discussion with the psychiatrist. She says that he imagined someone on the island, but his blood work didn't show any sign of malaria. Perry wants an interview with Lana. She says her parents died that day. When Clark wants him to leave, he says there will be cameras if she doesn't agree. Perry asks if Chloe made up the stories. She's surprised to hear that he's Perry White. Lana tells Lex that Perry doesn't leave her alone. As Perry's drunk, Clark says that he used to be one of the best reporters in Metropolis. He says that thinking journalism mattered was a mistake. Clark stops him from drinking. Perry's surprised that Clark is still nice after his behavior towards them. Lex and Anderson says sometimes Clark's faith in his fellow man outweighs his common sense. Perry says that he has no intention of revisiting the past. Lex says it isn't about his father. He's angry because he ambushed Lana. He then drops him off outside. Perry tried to find something on Lionel. Lex tells him to make sure he gets on the bus. Perry begins to drink. As Clark tries to lift the tractor, he is unable. He pulls and sends it flying. It lands next to Perry. He then pours out the liquor. Clark arrives and he's surprised. Jonathan tells police that someone with a flatbed tried to steal it, but it must have fallen off. Perry says that it fell out of the sky. The sheriff tells him to get on his bus in an hour. Perry tells Chloe that Lionel is the cause for his career failure. Clark says that the solar flare is affecting his abilities. He believes his strength is coming from the sun. The solar flare will disappear tomorrow. Chloe comes warning Clark because Perry is interested in him. Lex is furious at his psychiatrist as she's refusing to sign off his psychological release. She wants more sessions as she believes he has genuine mental problems as he has experienced emotional and physical traumas. Perry says that he has found his story. He's sure that Clark has abilities. As Clark takes off, he uncontrollably super speeds away. Clark comes back with the bus as he was unable to stop running for 1,000 miles. Jonathan says that Perry witnessed it. Perry tells Lex that he has something on Lionel. If it would be spread, he would be killed. For this information, he wants everything he has on Clark. Lex tells him to stay away. His hands then shaking. Outside the farm there's a camera crew. Clark suddenly gets headache and releases heat vision. Clark gets burned as he tries to stop it. His powers are clumsy because of the solar flares. He wants to get away before Perry can capture something on tape. Their truck drives out and Martha calls him to come back. Perry chases Clark, but Jonathan gets out and tells him to leave his family alone. Clark and Pete get out. Perry apologizes to Lana and says he'll leave if she drops him off at the bus stop. Lana then calls Clark and he suddenly takes off. Perry told Lana he'll kill himself if she didn't call Clark. He set up Clark and wants to prove he has powers. He jumps off and Clark jumps after him. Perry's attached to a rope and wants Clark to show his powers, but he literally can't. The rope starts tearing. Lana and Pete drop a rope and Perry hangs on to Clark. Pete starts pulling them up, but Clark can barely hold on. They're finally pulled up and Clark's hands are burned. Perry is disappointed. Lex decides to share all of his deep thoughts with his psychiatrist. The solar flare is over and Clark's powers have returned. Lana says that she visited her parents' graves after months. She has now someone she loves. Clark drops off Perry at the bus stop. He's surprised that there's someone like Clark in the world. He got a wake-up call and he has been sober for 17 hours. He finally decides to finish the story he let go of.